We're live.
And we're live.
How's it going, dude?
Good, how are you?
I'm actually doing very well for obvious reasons after last night.
Yeah, I watched the half of it, and it was looking very promising for you guys. It looked
Very,
so promising that I thought I'll just go to bed because I think you had the job done and dusted. So
yeah. It was a weird game in that sense where it was, even though it was 1-0 for most of the game, technically 2-0 on aggregate. It just felt so comfortable. Like it didn't feel like a 1-0 Champions League game.
no, I think for them, like I don't know, like I was thinking about it during the game last night, and it's like almost like they've pinned all their hopes on winning La Liga, and it's like you can almost like, as much as they probably would have wanted do really well in the Champions League as well, they're all the league leaders in La Liga, and it's probably going to be a long, with Barca now having a new president and all of that. I expect them to go hard in the transfer market, and they'll probably be top next season again. It's them or Real. So it's probably Atletico's best time to actually try and win in La Liga for a while.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. We won't go into the match too much just yet. We'll wait for Cooks on that. To those of you watching, I don't know if Gillian is tuned in yet. Don't stress. Cooks is coming. He's on his way. He was just running late. But, dude, we need to do something about these 10 o'clock kickoffs.
I've got one tonight.
So tired.
I have one tonight.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm so keen to watch that game, and I just don't know if I'm going to make it because obviously last night I stayed up, and like I said earlier, I went for a run today, and that almost killed me even more. Jillian says she's here like always. So Jillian, don't worry, Cooks is coming. He should be probably 10 to 15 minutes. But yeah, man, I was hoping that you guys might have this early kickoff today, and then I checked the fixtures and I was like, no, I don't think I'm staying up for that.
We had an 8 p.m. kickoff the first leg, so there's no chance there's no chance we're getting that lucky and them giving us 2 8 o'clocks in Europe in a row.
Yeah. Well, I think we definitely need to speak to someone at the Premier League or at UEFA or go all the way up to FIFA to fucking sort this shit out because
it's a nightmare. Especially like the worst part of it is if it's a draw and it goes into extra time and fucking penalties.
Then you don't even need to go sleep. Then you might as well just stay up through the night.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Like, listen here, I already break my my code of waking up early for nothing, and I do that on UFC. I don't need to go to bed like super late now as well.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, the EFC is back, which means at least we'll be able to start watching fights at decent hours again.
Yeah, that's quite a surprise. I think like we brought it up a few months ago. We're like, listen, are they even around? And we found some stuff on the internet.
The last I read was they were supposedly filing for bankruptcy, and now they're having events. So obviously, good on them for finally getting out there. And but we won't go into the EFC too much tonight, guys, because next week, not next week, the Monday, the 29th of March, we've got Gideon Drotsky on the show. So then we'll dive into the EFC and what he thinks about everything. And maybe by then, we don't know, maybe he's even fighting on this card.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see who they get on that first card. I'm expecting to see some stalwarts on there. So that'll be pretty cool if he actually is on that card.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to make it a big event to sort of get the people back and involved, because I got a feeling towards the end of before lockdown, I got a real feeling that the EFC was dropping a lot in terms of interest and viewership, and especially the live order. The last couple of live shows I went to wasn't amazing in terms of the amount of people that were there.
I think a lot had to do with them losing, obviously, their star fighters, obviously going over to getting UFC contracts and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it obviously takes away from fans watching it. And then I think another thing was the last couple of months with EFC, like you didn't really know where you could watch it. Like this month it was on SABC, then it was on SuperSport, then it was back to SABC Sport, and it was like all over the flipping place. Like,
yeah,
it felt a bit like, you know, I always say it's organized, but it just felt like it didn't have a home.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you're saying, and I read the press release that they released, you know, in the week. And they say now there's even more channels and stuff where they're going to show it. Presumably, you know, it won't be all in South Africa. It will be different places around the world. But I think that's obviously what they have to do now, because that's the only source of revenue at the moment.
Yeah. No, well, it's good. I mean, the more fighters we can get out of Africa, not just in South Africa, we can get some more Nigerians, like guys from Cameroon. You know, we're seeing those nationalities doing really well in the UFC. So it could just, you know, it could be our own little. Well, EFC's got to sort of promote themselves as their own little one championship / Bellator in Africa.
Yeah.
And the main thing was try to get their talent into the UFC.
Yeah, that's a great. It's a good stepping stone especially for your African guys. You know, guys outside of South Africa.
And it will do well if these guys do well. Like, so if the better the Dons, the Drickuses, the JPs, the Dolces do, the better it is for EFC, and the better it is for getting talent in the EFC. So Klaus is very interested about something behind you.
Yeah, Klaus is over here. He never leaves me alone. Today he's on the camera, guys. Yeah, so while we wait for Cooks, let's jump into the Europa League action. Couple of nice games on tonight for the English teams. 3 of them left. Two of the games, obviously, a little bit sort of more. How can I put it? 2 of the games are pretty much done. If you look at Arsenal against Olympiacos, they've got a 3-1 lead and playing at home. Spurs playing away from home, but they've got a 2-0 lead. And then obviously you guys are on the knife's edge.
Yeah, I think like if you look at it like it's a true European encounter, like us and AC, Zlatan's back in the squad for them.
How is this not a Champions League game? Like if you think 10 years ago, this is prime like Champions League semi-final stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So there's like quite a bit of excitement around it. The nice thing is the first game, the first game had everything of a Champions League game. It was tight. One team was on top for a bit, then the other team went on top for a bit.
Except it was on a Thursday.
Yeah, except it was on a Thursday. So yeah, it would. If you look at the Champions League games, since COVID, I struggle to watch them, eh? Like, I struggle to watch Champions League games with no crowds. It's weird. Like, I can watch a league game with no crowd, but a Champions League game without a crowd just doesn't feel the same. It feels so
atmosphere in Champions League games.
Yeah. So it's such a weird, like, I really can't tell between a Europa and a Champions League game at the moment with no crowds. Like, it just feels so flat. European competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be cool. It should be a good one. They've got some players back. Apparently, we've apparently got some players back. Pogba's been training. Apparently, Donny's been training. I think Cavani's didn't end up traveling. He was apparently not. He went through a training session not feeling 100% comfortable. But like there's still like you get Paul Pogba back, and if he is able to get some minutes in midfield, that's a big boost. So yeah, it should be interesting. It should be nice to see what comes from it. I've been seeing a lot of talk out of the United camp that they've been trying to. The players have been talking about Europa League as a cup they want to win. So let's see. It's always easy to say those things. Let's see if they show it tonight.
Yeah, well, that's the next thing I was going to come to is all three of you guys. Well, all three of the England teams, really, you'd think would really go for the Europa League this year because okay, you guys are most probably qualifying for the Champions League, but with Arsenal and Spurs, that's their only ticket at the moment. So I think for the first time in a long time, everyone's going to take this seriously.
Well, I think especially for guys that for your Spurs and your Arsenal that don't look like top four is manageable right now for them. I think
also they've got no chance. They're out of the FA Cup as well. So really, they really need to win this. Looking at especially if you look at Spurs, like Mourinho, we don't know what his future is going to look like if he doesn't win something. Obviously, they haven't been that good in the league this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see those sides what they come up with. We know Mourinho will. Mourinho's got the class to sort of like grind out a Europa League campaign. He did it with us when we won the Europa League. We literally grinded out that campaign. So he's got that in his pedigree to do that. I do think he's lost his touch a bit, but it still doesn't mean they can't go and have 7-1-0 wins and go win the trophy. You know what I mean? Something ridiculous like that. But yeah, he'll be under a bit of pressure because things haven't been looking great. So that pressure will be there. Arsenal, you never know with Arsenal. I mean, they will go and, they'll beat someone this weekend and lose the next 5. So you never know like what their situation really is at the club. I mean, we've still got Europa and we've got a big FA Cup against Leicester this weekend. So, there's still trophies to be won for us. Although I don't see us getting anywhere closer to City in the league, which would be nice, but I just can't see City dropping easy points somewhere.
But also a very important little, 5-day period or 4-day period for you guys because you can now go from possibly, winning the Europa League, well, at least staying in the Europa League and staying in the FA Cup to being kicked out of both competitions. Then things really a difficult time for you guys.
No, it's a big week, but it's a week that a club like United should be having. Like, if you're a big club, you should be, in all the competitions. And you should be having, these situations where you got a last round 16 game this, in the week, and then the weekend you got a quarterfinal of a cup. So big clubs want this. This is what, if you want to play for a big club or be part of a big club, this is what you expect week in and week out. So I think it'll be, listen, I'm not too sure, like, I'm a bit sort of in two minds about tonight. I'm quietly confident, but I'm also not too confident. I actually feel that we're playing away, and we've known away suits us this season. So that's why I'm quietly confident, but I'm also expecting, anything can happen really. So we've we've got a really. I'm actually more confident for the weekend's game, for the FA Cup game. I think we'll do much better there. So, it is what it is. I guess we just got to see which United team rocks up. I mean, we grinded out a victory against West Ham the other night, and it was tough. But to be fair, the scoreline should have been 2-3-0. Like, we hit the ball. Fabianski looked like prime fucking Gigi Buffon against us. So it was quite interesting.
Well, Reese, welcome, Reese. By the way, guys, all of you go follow Marissa. She's doing some great PR stuff in sport. They had a very cool chat on Clubhouse, which is a new platform. I never knew about it. And I listened into that today, and it was really cool. It's all about sports and sports sponsorship. Fuck, I have too much. Not even half. Yeah.
I was about to say, have you been drinking before the podcast?
Go follow Marissa and check that out. I think they do that every week now. But Geeks, are you guys prepared for the return of the king?
Yeah, I am. I actually think, I don't know if he'll start though, because he's just come back from injury. But I do expect him to have a few minutes, and hopefully by then would have had the game wrapped up. But if not, it should be interesting. Yeah, it should be. You know what? We know what to expect from him.
He's definitely scoring tonight because he is, he's the man for the occasion.
I think we might have. It'll be interesting. It'll be cool to see. I definitely would be playing Eric Bailly tonight at centre back. I think him and Zlatan would be a great little battle between the two of them. It will be interesting. I don't know if Paul will start for us. I doubt he will. But it will be. But that is back for Sweden as well. I don't know how they manage that.
Well, he's pulling a vintage Michael Jordan on us.
Yeah, well, I think the last one, wasn't it Roger Miller who came back in his fucking 40s or something like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this turns out. I think Sweden at this point in time is probably just like, we really need someone for qualifiers, and we really need someone who can score goals. So can you come back for 2 games just to make sure you score a goal or 2 so we can go through? We might not pick you for the tournament though.
What's Reese saying here? With Latin should have 2 games on August 5 team.
He'll probably be the 5 team.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting to see what comes out from tonight's game. It's been a while since we've been at the San Siro, so should be cool.
Yeah, what a pity that there's no, like we said earlier, that there's no crowds for that.
No, because I think both leagues would have been jam-packed. I think there would have been a 70,000 crowd at Old Trafford for the first leg, and I think definitely a full house for the second leg. That's for sure. So, it's a bit of a pity. Like I said, it's been so difficult, these European nights, and it's all fairness to the broadcasters and with BT and everyone, their pre-match stuff is brilliant. It's just unfortunately when it flicks over to the game, it just doesn't resonate the same way. It's just it falls a little bit flat in a lot of places.
So are you going to be brave enough and give us a prediction there?
Do you know what? I'm going to go a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, so that will put you guys through
on an away goal. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. We've been really good away from home, and we haven't looked like losing away from home. So I think I don't want a 1-1 draw because I can't handle penalty shootouts and extra time. I need my sleep. So
yeah, especially with these late kickoffs.
So give me a 2-2 rather, and let us just all walk away with smiles on our face.
Yeah. Demo says no draw. You guys, if you guys want, those of you watching, to give predictions, drop them in the comments, and then we'll also share them on here. And another thing I wanted to touch on, it's something that I unfortunately didn't really follow. I've been a bit hectic, busy with work and with fucking bachelors over weekends and all sorts of stuff. But the ladies' cricket side did amazingly well in India, coming away with a series victory in India.
Incredible. Actually, I've been watching the series, but I probably haven't been watching it like too in detailed. So I would like watch 20 overs or so and carry on doing something else. But obviously, since the last 2 weeks, well, this is my second week now in isolation, so I've had nothing else to do than sit on the couch and actually just watch teams I wouldn't really watch. And I really enjoyed that chase from the ladies. It was brilliant. And one thing, I was actually sitting with my old man and we were busy watching the game and chatting about it, and that is how good the strokes that they played. Like they bat like really good batting strokes that the innings had. In typical Proteas way, we do like to make things a little bit difficult, where we've got two batsmen in their 50s and then they both try and hit it over the inner ring and get themselves caught out, and then you're cruising, and then you have two brand new batsmen at the crease. So that's always nervy in every way because we know how quickly that can turn around. But yeah, the ladies, the batting was brilliant. Just the quality they've really. The last time I watched the Proteas ladies, it was. I'm going to be honest with you, it was a tough watch. It was a tough watch, and they have improved in leaps and bounds. They are by far the most improved national team that we have in this country.
Yeah.
Oh, look at number 3.
Look who finally decided to show up. Yeah, boy.
Okay, so while we're on this Bears kissing story, I just want to give you guys an interesting Chelsea stat. This is from Julian.
Just wait before you get into this. Let's just see what Reese is saying here. I was proper disappointed to hear some radio stations talk about Pele's text to CR17 ahead of this news. That was literally the biggest sports news of it. Well, Marissa, I think you know better than anyone the plight of female sports in general. And yeah, I do agree with you that you would think that mainstream media gives more attention to massive feats like that. I mean, beating India in India for anyone in any, male or female game is massive.
And so convincingly as well, which is huge. I'm alone here, but I've got a great stat that I'll just throw out here. Chelsea hasn't scored a goal against Man United since Eden Hazard has left the club. How'd you like that stat, lads?
Oh, well, I've got another stat for you. We're 13 games unbeaten, motherfucker.
I think we're 23 away games unbeaten.
Yo,
2 years.
Look at the tournaments you guys are playing. You guys are playing on Thursdays and things like that.
Doesn't matter.
Cooks, how's it going, man?
Oh, good, thanks. Jeez, crazy day, but yeah, happy to be here. I thought I'd bring back the Jack Black that I fell in love with in Cape Town.
Oh, there we go. We introduce you to a beer, and all of a sudden you can't be seen without it.
Yeah, 100%. If I can't be in Cape Town, I'm gonna bring Cape Town back to me. So it's
that's it, boy. There we go.
Ocean right there in PE with you.
No, 100%. Just unfortunately, I think I miss Wally Jacuzzi. That's still a game changer. I think about that when I go to bed sometimes. Just gotta.
What did you say to me,
But
Chris? What did you say to me? Now I understand why no one sits in the jacuzzi with a frown on their face.
yeah,
You've never seen a depressed person sitting in a jacuzzi.
never ever. I've never seen it depressed. You're sitting there and it's like in a happy place. Like there's no worries in the world whatsoever.
But then also, I've never seen a depressed person after Chelsea beating Atletico Madrid.
100%.
To go into,
Also,
I honestly couldn't believe that this is the first quarterfinal in what, like 7 or 8 seasons. That was a shock.
Yeah.
What have you guys seen, you guys, since then?
But in all honesty, I mean, we've always done well in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Obviously before this period, and I just never knew it was it's been that long.
But also, you got to. I think I thought about it today, and we went through a period where I think we played PSG 3 years in a row. They knocked us out 3 years in a row. Then we played Bayern. Also, we were in the Champions League and out the Champions League, and we were so inconsistent for a long time. So I think I was surprised and not surprised, because if you look back at the last like 7 years, we had, besides the league title that Conte won, and the one Mourinho won. I mean, besides that, I mean, it's been a bit of a lean. Well, to us, Dan, there's a lean time in the Champions League. Like I said, first quarterfinals in 7 years. Last time at the quarterfinals was when we got the semis, 2013. So yeah, it's great to be amongst the big boys again.
Yeah.
Cooks, I was telling Ryan before you joined, it was like we brushed on the game slightly, and I was saying it was quite crazy to think how easy it looked and felt for Chelsea in both legs. But it's almost like Atletico, almost like we were talking about, because they're leading in La Liga. It's almost like those players have shifted, like had this mindset of La Liga's number one at this point in time, because with Laporte going back now, the new Barca president, or him being back there, you expect Barcelona to go out and spend some money and buy some players,
100%.
And sort their shit out. This might be Atletico's only time probably in the next 5 to 6 years that they can go and win a title, a Spanish title.
100%.
And it's almost like the play. I don't know, like it might be just. It's not me trying to take anything away from a Chelsea victory who made it so easily, but it's almost like I had this feeling that those players were just like, we're playing a competition, but it's not really the one we want to win right now. Obviously, everyone wants to win, but I don't know. I just had this weird feeling about it. And Ryan was also saying like, actually maybe he actually thinking about it. I think he said like, it does feel that way, like almost like there's so much focus on winning that La Liga title now, because we know Real Madrid and Barcelona are not going to spend money.
Yeah, 100%.
Next season.
I think.
So I just want to touch on. Sorry, guys. Jade's saying he's joining late because he's got load shedding. Too many Chelsea jerseys. Well, look, Jade. If you're gonna have that attitude, then we'd rather have you sit in the dark as well.
Come to the light, brother. Jade, come to the light.
On that note, I am, as you guys can see, I'm running out of light here very fast. I've got load shedding at the moment as well. So I've got the UPS that at least carries the internet. So yeah, if I disappear into darkness, it's because I can't put the lights on.
Good call. But Keegs, I mean, to your hi Julian. Not enough Chelsea shirts on the screen. But like Keegs, to your point, I think like you said, I don't think Atletico, as good as Chelsea were, I thought Atletico were poor. I thought, especially at home. I thought especially at home. I didn't think we'd go to Madrid and have 70% possession and almost run the show and boss the game. I mean, you watch the first leg, you'd think that we're the ones that are on top of our league, of our league, and they're the ones scraping through. That's the game that surprised me. I thought yesterday, obviously, they showed a lot more intent, and I just thought, and obviously they press high, but it's not their game it's not Atletico's game to press that high and be on the front foot, and that's not how they play. I mean, you think like it's almost like they're used to being the opposite. They're used to what do you call it? They're used to being the ones going to a second leg with a 1-0 lead, not the ones chasing.
Yeah.
And but I thought I thought it was 50-50 of Chelsea playing well and Atletico not being great. Like and I just think we caught them at a good time, because if you look at December when they made the draw, I mean they were like 10 points clear with like 4 games in hand, something stupid in the league.
Yeah.
And
They have
now
been
they're like
in a bit of a slump.
Yeah, and now, for example, they what do you call it? Now they're like 4 points clear. It's turning into a bit of a dogfight there for La Liga. So I thought we caught them at a good time.
Exactly.
And yeah,
it's almost like they think they're like, oh shit, we can't. It's almost like it's like that deer in the headlights moment where just be like, we could cock both of these tournaments up, or we could just try and deal with one tournament. And I don't think that they have. I think depth-wise is also not their biggest. Atletico's never really had huge depth. So I think like they are a squad that needs to focus on one competition. So
I must say,
I do think that I think that panic that you said, where they've the Liga gap has become so short, like so close now. It's almost like there's a panic that's set in there by them.
100%. But I saw this crazy stat. I mean, which just shows how good they've been. Is this the first time that Atletico Madrid's been knocked out, or under Simeone has been knocked out in the knockout stages by a team that doesn't have Cristiano Ronaldo? Because every time they played, they've been knocked out. It's been like Real Madrid. If you look at the 2 finals they've been to, Real Madrid knocked them out. They've been to 2 semis. Madrid beat them both times. Last year, Juve knocked them out.
That's incredible.
That's crazy, yeah. But I mean, we've got it. So.
No, sorry. It's the second time. Leipzig beat them last year. Sorry, it's the second time, because Leipzig beat them last year in that. What do you call it? In that one-off.
Yes, the one legs. Yeah.
I think they say in a 2-leg system, it's the first time they've got anyone be a team without Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it shows a good job they've done. It's that reverse thing of, if AC Milan pop up on my DSTV because you guys are playing them later. If Atletico, for example, my thing is, it almost felt like yesterday in the second half, it felt like Atletico was winning 1-0, because they came in guns blazing in the first half. The first 20 minutes, and Chelsea got third, we scored the goal.
Yeah.
And then they almost like we were in control again. And I'm sitting there like, we got 70% possession after 25%. It was 25 minutes. Like, who's winning 1-0 here? Like, it's almost, it felt like they were sitting back and like, we're gonna hit you back on the counter. And we're like, fine, we'll just keep the ball then. Like, we don't have to attack because we're in the pound seats here. But that was the alarming thing. And then,
I told Keegan earlier before you joined, I was like, I don't remember if I've ever been so comfortable with us being 1-0 or only 1-0 ahead. When it was before the second goal, it was only 1-0, and I was like, there's no way we fucking this up. And usually that's when it's the most stressful, it's when it's only 1-0. And
100%.
We were just, obviously we were very good, and they were just nowhere.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is under Tuchel, I think.
Gillian, that's how you guys go on when you get a draw against West Ham. So we good.
We don't draw against West Ham. We beat West Ham. Just get that straight, please.
Okay, well, Burnley then, whoever.
But I found, what you call it, but I must say, like, Rio Ferdinand said after the game that he says something like, I agree with it. He said there's confidence in Chelsea when we don't have the ball. Like, when we don't have the ball, there's like a level of comfort. And it almost feels like when Kante is playing or we're playing really well, then we can just get the ball back whenever you want to. That's what it felt like yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like we'd almost defend, and like, okay, I can't do it. Like, okay, I want the ball back now. He'll just go and get it, and we'll play the ball again, and then we lose the ball again, and then I think for me with Tuchel, I think on the Tuchel is that we're playing good football, and I think obviously I think he wants to find the missing link for next year. So it's like, okay, maybe I need a striker so it can be more clinical. Because I think if you look at it, I mean, we are unbeaten. I think the only issue is that we played, and in his 13 games, we've only scored 15 goals. So we're averaging 1 point something goals a game. So we're only averaging about 1 goal a game.
Yeah.
So
if you look at the way we're playing, the amount of goals we're scoring is concerning.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because as an outsider fan, if I watch Chelsea play, you guys don't scare. Like, I don't get scared watching Chelsea. Like, I'm not saying that.
And the problem is,
I'm not saying you're playing badly. I'm just saying that you can have all the ball you want, but it's not scary. It's not frightening me as an opponent. The way you play. So it's not like it's not like a Liverpool when they're firing. You know, when they really were firing, like they were scaring the shit out of people. Yeah. When Man City are firing, they're scaring the shit out of people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that it's weird because you don't often see teams that are winning on a good streak, but they're not a frightening team to.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's not frightening. It's weird.
You can see what's happened at what Tuchel's done is. Our biggest problem under Lampard was the defense. We were scoring enough goals under him, but we were conceding more than we scored. So Tuchel obviously went, let's sort that out, right? Because if you don't concede, you're fine, right? You can pick up draws and that, but a draw is better than a loss. And you can see now it's getting better, and he's working with the strikers now, or the attacking players, and it's definitely getting better. Like Kai Havertz has been playing a lot better. Timo Werner is doing a job. ZH last night was a big surprise to me that he started. I definitely would have started Hudson-Odoi over him just based on current form and whatever. But then he goes on and scores. So then, you know, that sort of changes things as well. But I think maybe not this season still, but next season, definitely people are gonna be scared of us, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think so. I mean, also you look at situations like, you watch a game with 0-0 and Timo Werner, for example, I don't know if he needs a Sangoma. I don't know if he needs, has he pushed off is there a voodoo doll out for him? Like, does he work on the ladders or something? Like, I don't know what's going on there because he's like the most unluckiest footballer. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like, and for me, it's.
But I know what the problem is. He's wearing a blue shirt, and you guys do this to all strikers.
No, but
you guys do this to all strikers.
So Cooks, that's a thing I remember from playing hockey. You get into a rut like that where you're playing well. Like, he's not playing badly. There's just a little touch of confidence in his finishing that he needs. And you get into that, and it's difficult to get out of it. But all you need is just one luck. I'm not saying a lucky goal, but just for things to go your way, one, 100%. Then you snap out of it. And I think, and we're just waiting for that moment, I think.
You guys waited a long time for Torres, to snap out of it.
Yeah.
No, Torres was playing.
But I mean, it's like, for me, it's like, I agree with you guys if you wait. But I still think, someone like Werner, it's his first year in the league. For me, it's like, one thing people forget about Chelsea's squad is that squad is very young. Kai Havertz is 21 years old. Werner is 24. I think the oldest signing is like Ziyech. I mean, he's 28. But I mean, Pulisic is 21. Hudson-Odoi is 19. Mount is 22. Reece James is 21. So you've got a young side. So I think for me, it's like, we still got a long way to go. And under Tuchel, we're showing such promise, and we've got youngsters. I mean, like, we're not the finished product yet. And I think as Chelsea, we expect to compete, and that's fine. And like, you know what? like, you know what? I thought about this tweet that I saw earlier today, and Keegan also, I think he commented about it, and he said, you know, when Chelsea fans are saying that that Havertz at any time, but what about Donny and all of that, and saying that his careers. And I saw that tweet, and I was like, you know, like it's something like that where he plays junior time. Because the funny thing is, what I found with Premier League signings is when we sign a youngster in your team, what happens in his young? We go, okay, guys, we got to give him time, and we all say together like, okay, guys, we got to give him time. And then he plays well off the bat. You're like, okay, this guy's a real deal. But when he struggles, like as fans in general, we almost forget to say
Yeah.
at the start of the year, like, we're gonna give this some time. Like that's how I always see the situation.
But I also, one thing you must understand, the one thing, sorry, Wally, just the one thing on youngsters is you must understand one thing. Young players are inconsistent as hell.
100%. 100%.
So you look at Alexander Arnold. I'm probably going to get slack for this, but he's a young player. He was fantastic last season. World class last season. This season, utter shit. Nowhere half the player he was last season. That's what youngsters give you.
Yeah.
They will be fantastic for 12 months. And the next 12 months they come about and they're not that good. Yeah. And that's just how, you know, maturity works in the game. It's very rare that you get a mature player like Mbappe who's on it week in, week out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That level of maturity, not every player has that level of maturity. So
the other thing that that people don't always think about as well, especially now in these current times, is everyone's struggling mentally with COVID and lockdown and all of that. Now you're taking these youngsters, you're sending them to a new country without their support structure, the family and everyone's still back in Germany. And he's just, you know, he now just needs to survive, sitting at his own home alone most of the time. And that also has a big effect on your output when it comes to match day.
100%. But like what kills me the most is like, you know, like one even like the English pundits, they like I don't even watch like halftime in the Premier League things. I go and I took the TV or go outside, or I don't watch the things. It's rare for me to watch them. But like when they sit there and they'll say, you know, Alexander Arnold, like was he worth all the hype? I'm like, he's 22. Like he's the best right back. He's been the best right back in the world for like 2 seasons. And now he has like the whole team, the main defenders out, the best defenders out, they're struggling. And all of a sudden, but is he really that good? That's when like Kai Havertz comes. When we sign him, that's what Tim Shaw will sit there and be like, yeah, 100%. You know, this kid is world class. I saw him in Germany.
Tim Shaw is a fucking joke anyway.
Then they come to the Premier League, they struggle. But my thing is, you see the guy play. You can see he can play. Like you see it. You see glimpses of, okay, this guy's good. But maybe he needs time to adjust to the league. Like I remember when the guy from Everton, from Juve, Moise Keane, and he came and struggled, and he got bashed left, right, and center. He goes to PSG, and he's scoring goals again. So is the kid issue because now he's playing in a top team, playing in the Champions League and scoring goals against the best clubs, like against Barca, and beating teams like that. So now I sit there and now Tim Shaw, you telling me that this guy is not good enough when he's 18 years old, coming to the Premier League, going to be the finished product. But it's that it's those things that drive me crazy, and it's like these are
yeah, but you'll get them. They'll always have stupid shit. Michael Owen the other day was going, no, Liverpool's the second best team in the league this year. I'm going,
they're literally not.
I'm like, they're literally not. I'm like, how the fuck can you say that? No, but I still believe they're the second best team in the league. I'll be like, no, like Leicester are even better than them this season. Like,
exactly.
But I mean, that's literally the whole point of a league like that is you can see who's the best and who's second best and who's third best.
Exactly.
Like,
but like, what
if you're second best, you should be second.
Yeah. But like, what kills me is you'll say something like that, and everyone's just like, oh, they're the best. Like, no one's saying overall that Leicester's got a better squad than Liverpool. Obviously, this season, they're not the second best team. Like, surely your own eyes, you can see that. Like, you can surely see that. But it'll be like, but they're European champions. Like, no one No one said they weren't European champions.
Yeah, no one's taking that away from them.
Yeah. It's a thing that annoys me. Like, but Michael Owen sits on both fences. That's what drives me crazy with it. So he sits on the United fence when he needs to. He sits on the Liverpool fence. He's like, choose one, because you're like, oh, United, loving what Ollie's doing, and the Liverpool not great. And then like as soon as like Liverpool's winning, it's like, oh, Liverpool, wow, I think we're the biggest club in England now. Like, yesterday you said that like Man is the biggest club in the like mate, you gotta choose one island and stick to it.
Yeah, the best part is neither sets of fans want to claim him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Jade. After 29 games, you can get a very good idea of who's better than who.
But that's just the shit you got to listen to on television like these days. Like, that's what I actually love. I really enjoy. I know someone was talking the other day. It was like, oh, they miss the Super Sport production for the Champions League games. They're missing Morale and Sami Kafur and all of them. I was like, oh, you fucking crazy. I was like, what were you watching?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Lineker and even fucking Julian Lescott is 1,000 times better having them in studio than fucking listening to the dog show that we used to have on television.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think the only punditry soccer I've probably listened to is probably like on YouTube. Is that I'll grab like Kenny Lineker, but like other than that, I don't watch because like I don't know. I just like the Sky Sports one is tough to watch. I mean, I've got Tim Sherwood at the start of the year saying wondering if Pep is good enough to coach. I'm like, Tim Sherwood, like you're coaching like you using the straight face saying like, oh Pep, I don't know if he still has it. I'm like, mate, you were coaching Aston Villa, you got relegated. You're sitting on the couch now for a reason.
Mate, you couldn't even get like the top, like you were barely a Tottenham manager. Like you literally got it by a bit of a default for a bit, like standing in, and you could barely hang on to that job.
Yeah, you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, I don't know, Pep, can you make that to the Premier League? Like that's I love the Premier League, but I just hate those like I hate those like the pundits that like English Premier League like apologists as if like there's no other league, and they sit there and they'll tell you like, oh, but I don't know if he can make the adjustment to the Premier League. Like you get players who can't, but I'm like, wait, this is also world class. These are world class footballers coming in here, and you can see it. Like my thing is like you watch someone like you watch Donny van de Beek play, for example, and you're watching technically against other English players. He's miles ahead of them. Technically, you see it. Like,
miles ahead. Yeah,
miles ahead. You see like Kai Havertz, he gets the ball. Like I love Mason Mount to bits. Like I think he's great, but technically, he's nowhere near Kai Havertz's ability with the ball. Like nowhere near. And like I watch like English players in terms like they've gotten a lot better, but like you watch the foreign players, for example, you watch Kevin De Bruyne, you watch those. I mean, how often do you have English players taking one touch too many? That's one touch too many. Oh, you should have given it earlier. Whereas you watch like the foreign players and like the actual like when Donny van de Beek plays. I mean, if he makes 3 touches, it's like a miracle. Control give. This old, and you watch his old saying that, and then for example they'll struggle because maybe the league's a bit faster. It's a lot more. The paces are higher, but like it's not the gifted players, the gifted technical players. Then the guys sit there like, I don't know if he has all the talent to play in the Premier League. I'm like, shut up. Watch this old play soccer.
He can play footy. That's the end of the thing. The guy, you can see the guy can play footy. I just want to grab some breaking news quickly here that I just got sent here.
Only got 5.
Not yet. Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler seems to be.
I saw that. Speaking about that, that's a great fight.
So that could be a good one.
Before we go over to I know Cooks wants to chat a bit of rugby. Before we go into that, I want a quick fire betting pick section for FA Cup games this weekend.
Oh man, my favorite competition.
So all I want is each of us to just pick a winner of each of the 4 games, and then we'll share this on Twitter and Facebook if anyone is stupid enough to actually go with our picks. The first up is the Bournemouth Southampton. Bournemouth, obviously the only non-Premier League team left. Keith, who you got
there? I think I'm going to go. There's going to be. Yeah, I'll go Southampton actually. It's so weird because you don't there's always that one upset, that one lower team doing well.
Yeah.
In the FA Cup.
Yeah, but that's why United's still there.
No, well, that's why Sheffield's going to knock you guys out. That's the upset I'm going for this weekend in the FA Cup.
Okay, so you got Southampton. Cooks, who you got?
I'm gonna go Bournemouth at home. Southampton's been struggling because they haven't been as good as they have been in the last year. So I'm gonna go Bournemouth at home because they're playing at home.
I'm also going for the magic of the FA Cup upset there. Bournemouth at home to win it. Everton City, Geeks.
City B team to win it 2-1 or something.
Cooks.
I'm gonna go Klaus there in the background. Yeah, and goes Man City. Yeah. I think City. I think they'll be full strength. I think it's the last games and then it's an international break. So I think City will go. I think City will go full strength. Yeah, I'll take Man City.
Yeah, I'll go with the second upset of the weekend for Everton.
He's winning. He's right. He's for payday.
Yeah. I'm trying to cash in here. But guys, don't follow any of my tips because I never win. I'll start off the bat. Chelsea, Sheffield. Obviously, I'm going with Chelsea on that one. Cooks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Boys in blue. Chelsea.
Geeks.
They sacked the manager, so that syndrome. When the new manager is in charge of the team. Sheffield to get that win. Back to winning ways.
Remember, Keegan, they say gamble with your head, not your heart, eh?
Hey, because Wilder's gone.
No freaking way.
When did that happen? I also didn't see that. In the week now.
I'll tell you where it happened because even the likes of it was 2 days ago because Dean Henderson and all of them were tweeting the manager and saying thanks for everything. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going Sheffield, Leicester City and Man United. Keegan, we'll let you go first on that one.
Like I said, I'm worried about tonight, and I think the weekend one will be we're away from home, so we win.
Yeah, I've got.
Cooks.
Yeah, I'm boring with my picks today. I've gone for all the favorites. So I'm gonna go United. Yeah, I don't know. I think United away from home. Bruno's gonna play his 88th game in a row. So yeah, you probably get the winner.
Yeah, I'll go for United as well. They'll have a point to prove after they lose this evening. And they are usually good when they need to prove a point. So I'll give that to them.
Always good when Ollie's under pressure. They're fantastic when Ollie's under pressure.
We play the best football ever when Ollie's about to lose his job.
Yeah.
So unreal.
So we've got one issue now with the Six Nations chat is as everyone knows, I'm not big into rugby. So I did a little bit of research and made some notes. But now it's pitch black in my house, so I can't see my own notes.
Beautiful. This is going to be beautiful.
One thing before you guys take over and discuss the last weekend's games, what's the story with Italy? Surely they need to get someone else in. 31 games without a win. Haven't won since 2015. Haven't won at home since 2013. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it's actually a mess now. I think Italian rugby, in terms of the domestic competitions, they've improved. I think they got better time to get in the playoffs. I mean, also international in club rugby. I mean, you're getting a couple of foreigners to go in as well. But I mean, they have improved. But I mean, I saw a tweet a couple of weeks ago. They were saying like what more does Georgia have to do to get a fucking gig in the Six Nations? I mean, surely they can't do any worse. You know what I mean? Like, surely, I still think there should be like a promotion relegation.
Italy's points difference is like minus 149 or something. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
But teams play Italy. They beat us, and he's still pumping them. It's not like they keep it's challenging. Like, you know, they'll have that show face. They'll have the one good. You know, France might not feel like playing rugby one day on that day, and they get the game. Like, it always used to be, you know, like it's either Italy or Scotland, and now Scotland they've least improved themselves. Where now they've pulled away from Italy, but I mean, it's like I said to you, like what more does Scotland? I mean, does Georgia have to do to get in the Six Nations?
Yeah,
I think the stat I saw for Italy was 100 Six Nation games, and they've lost 95 out of 100.
I also saw that in the week.
It's ridiculous.
The problem is they have to do something about it because there's other nations that's being prevented from improving themselves because obviously Italy's not fucking interested in getting better or something's wrong there. And you look at like Argentina, for example, when they joined the rugby championship, how much better they've become. So it is possible to improve yourselves when you play against the big guns regularly, but you obviously need to do a job of it.
Yeah, I mean, like not asking them to win the Six Nations, but I mean like just win more than one game in 6 years.
Yeah.
Like Argentina struggled initially when they came in, but you know, like now they beat the Box about 3-4 times, beaten Australia about 4, but beat New Zealand. So at least you know when they're in it to it, and they've improved. The Jaguars got the Super Rugby final. So it's like you see the improvement within their rugby, and the Argentina, the pure national side, they playing so much. Like I'll look at an example. Like when Argentina came in the championship, they were just known as a scrumming team, and they couldn't pretty much just if you stop the scrum, there's nothing much you can do. Now they're one of the most skillful sides in the competition. They play good rugby. And that's because of Super Rugby, because of the improvement, because of the rugby championship. Because Italy, it's like, yes, they got better players, but but they're not winning games. You know, they're not competing. Like, I think for me, I've got to get Georgia in there. Something's got to change. Or Japan. Do something.
Yeah, Japan's not a bad shot. So, Cooks, what did you make of the games this weekend? Obviously, Italy got pumped again, and the other two games were quite close.
I must say, last weekend, I was in Plett, not thinking I was going to catch any rugby, but I could put a few games because I thought this weekend was one of the best rugby weekends there's been in a very long time. Because the New Zealand Super Rugby games were good, but the Reds vs Brumbies game was outstanding. 40-38. 2-6. I mean, besides the Italy game, the England and France game was out of this world. The first half was probably one of the best international rugby games I've seen probably since the World Cup. That first half was brilliant. The Ireland Scotland game on Sunday was also another good game.
And controversial as well. So that Ireland
100%. 100%. But you said like there were like controversies, there was like stories, there was such good games. I love the France and England game this weekend. Those are the best games I've seen in a long time. First halves I've seen in a long time. I think beware of France come 2023. I think we either play them or New Zealand in the quarters. I mean, obviously we get through, but I mean, I'm worried about France. Their young side. There's a few guys in that French side, and also for me, they're actually putting games together. They're consistent. So it's not like the old France where it's like they've champagne this week. And then the next week they will lose to Italy. So it's like, I mean, they put together a lot since if you look at the last Six Nations and now, they put together. I mean, they probably lost about 4 tests. I mean, they've lost to England twice. They've lost to Scotland, But besides that, I mean, they've been actually stringing together performances and results that good sides string together. But yeah, I thought my biggest takeaway.
They're looking at possibly ending second for the year now.
No, 100%. But like, yeah, my biggest takeaway this weekend is two things. France is going to be really tough to watch, and people need to stop writing off England. I know they're struggling at the moment, but England, for me, I still have them as the third best side in the world. After, well, probably second. I still think they're slightly ahead of New Zealand. I mean, obviously the ball's in England. I think they're slightly ahead of New Zealand. But yeah, some good games. Like he said, some controversy in the Ireland and Scotland game. But yeah, some good rugby. What did you think, Keith?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed that France-England game. That first half was absolutely crazy. I think the second half really died down a bit and really, really struggled. Both sides really struggled to get in rhythm. The Ireland, and when you looked at the Ireland-Scotland game, Scotland looked like they were nowhere. Looked like they didn't pick off the bus in the first against Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland was just up points. I was like, oh god, no, this is not what we won. They got themselves back into it, and then had all the momentum, and then a real dodgy try. I still believe that Poet gave our favorite three. So I don't know how that doesn't go up to the TMO. I don't understand. And I think Scotland can feel hard done by a little bit because that was a momentum changer. That try, it was still a 3-point at the end. I still think that change of momentum at that time of the game, it's a big shift. It's a massive shift at that time. So it's a tough one. But yeah, the rugby was fantastic. And listen, I do think teams have figured England out. I'm going to be honest with you. I know rugby guys, I know Sharky and a few other people are like, but I just like to give Eddie Jones a hard time. But I do think people have started figuring Eddie out and figuring out England. And they're the type of team that they don't really play everyone in their specialist positions because they try and fit all the talent onto the field. So I still, I don't believe with this playing Farrell. If Farrell's not their best 10, then he should never fucking be playing at 12 ever for England. Do you know what I mean? Because Nagi is the best 12 that they have. That's hands down. There's things that I find that England do, and I'm just like, I don't know. Those players aren't like New Zealand. They're not like the New Zealand players that can fit in 3, 4, 5 positions. These. And that's what I say. I do think England's a good outfit. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel that teams have figured out how to play them, and I do feel that if you get on top of them at some time, they struggle. They honestly struggle. And they are a team that you can get on top of at scrum time. The French, if you're going to get shoved by the French, at scrum time, then good luck coming up against a Springbok side. Even a poor Springbok side, we can scrum.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what to make of England at the moment. They're top 4 side. That's no doubt about it. But I just don't have this aura around. I don't understand where some people get this aura around them. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel it at the moment.
I get where you're coming from. I think I saw them. For me, the real England came out in the second half because I just think sometimes, with Eddie Jones, I'd be like, why don't you run the ball? You got players that have skill, run it. And I thought in the first half, I was as good as they played ball in hand. And runners,
give it to Watson.
Was intent.
Give it to Watson.
It's like getting to Watson. Watson's getting the ball forward. He's looking good. When they're playing like that, it makes sense to play 4 to 10, Farrell at 12 because they're throwing the ball around. But then for me with England, I got a feeling. I'll tell you who at workers. I think when Eddie Jones took over England for the first time around, he took a squad from they went beaten for a while, and then 2 years into this year, he started dropping a few of the stalwarts and getting a bit of youngsters in. So I think that he's gonna, after this season, there's a few guys that are not gonna come back next year. A few guys, maybe possibly the Ben Youngs, they're not gonna come back. He's gonna introduce a couple more youngsters.
Probably your Venetano, Mako could be on his last few matches.
I believe in 100%. But I see, as Alex asking about Quade Cooper.
Yeah.
I'll try and answer that.
What's the story with Quade Cooper? He's in Japan now, I see. But what is the Aussie Unions' problem with their base number 10?
I don't think it's a problem with. I don't always think it's what the Unions' problems with Quade is. I think sometimes it also is reversal. Quade with the Unions.
Yeah.
Quade has not made himself a popular figure in Australia when it comes to club sides. And I think I don't think he's won over a lot. I think he's pissed a lot of people off. Not just pissed a lot of people off, but I think, from what I've heard and from some of the Aussie players that I've spoken to before and he's made life tough for himself there a bit. I thought Quade was going to turn the corner when he came back to play for the Rebels, and him and Genya, when the Rebels had that great little season, 2-3 seasons ago? Yes.
World Cup,
That World Cup year, Genya was looking solid, Quade was looking good. Had some of the other Rebels guys, I can't remember who was actually all playing in that Rebel side, but they looked good. Like the whole team looked great. I thought, Quade's turned the corner here. This guy looks like he's interested in rugby. Looks like he wants to get going and get his career back on track. And then I don't think Checker picks him for the World Cup. And then we don't see Quade ever again.
Yeah. I think that sums up Quade pretty much. That sums up the Quade story. I mean, it's talented and is a great talented. You know what I mean? When Quade Cooper's one of those guys when he's playing well, you feel it.
And then you saw.
Sorry, can you guys hear him?
We can hear you.
You broke up a little bit.
At the end. Yeah, my earphones just disappeared. Yeah, but but I think with Quade Cooper, he's one of those guys where when you see him playing, you turn the TV on because if he's playing well, you're gonna watch. Unfortunately, those are few and far between. Is he one of the most talented players to come to Australia recently? 100%. But he's just not consistent enough. And I think for me, if you go into World Cup, you go into a test match, you want someone that's consistent. I mean, I get your Alex Kasomidi said because I enjoy watching him, but I don't think he's their best 10. I think it's been a while since he was their best 10. And also, I think for me, the Wallabies are a sleeper in terms of maybe not 2023, but 2027 because there's a couple of youngsters they've been able to put together. I mean, I love watching the Reds. There's a couple of youngsters they've been able to put together, and they're getting some serious depth and not just good Super Rugby players, like good high quality guys who can play 100 tests for the Wallabies. Guys that can be, like the Reds 8th man Harry Wilson can play. Jordan Patia, he's 19 years old. He's probably at 13, one of the biggest talents in the world.
And McDermott, the number 9, is a decent scrummy.
Yeah, 100%. And they've got about 3 fly-offs. I mean, they've managed to 3 youngsters that they've managed to James O'Connor playing some good footy again. They've got serious talent coming through at the moment. They've got a great coach in Dave Rennie. So I think they're moving in the right track where, like I said, I don't think 2020. I think 2023 might be too soon for them. But come 2027, I think they'll be really good. So for me, I think they're good. Like I said, it's actually Quade Cooper over this season, but that's a Quade Cooper story. It's fireworks one day, and then other days it's just not reliable enough. Unfortunately, that's the issue. You can't have one great offload at the back of your hand, and then you can't keep the rest of the game. And you're like, why is he not playing? Like you see his offload. You're like, I saw it was great. I cheered and I lost my mind, but then he must touch for 4 feet in a row. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
it's those fundamentals that those fundamentals that a lot of the times you'll have a fantastic game, like you said, Cooks, but then an easy kick for touch to set up a line out, 10 minutes to go, you'll go miss the line out. Like, you'll miss the kick for touch.
Yeah.
You'll not kick it out. Those little fundamentals seem to bite him a lot of the times. And I think, that's the Quade Cooper story. People always wonder how Cooper has stayed so relevant for so long. And I'd be like, Bill has got a lot of Quade in him, but Curtly Bill also has the fundamentals down in his game. He does the really well. So that's why Bill has to stay so relevant for so long, especially in the Australian jumper.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
All right, James Will.
Cooper. I mean, yo.
Him and his prime.
End this off with on another good note, news that I just got in now. So firstly, congratulations for Lloyd Harris on beating Dominic Thiem in the week 2 days ago. He just beat awesome. Kai Nishikori as well. He beat him 6-1, 6-3 in the quarterfinal for Singapore Tennis Open. So, I can't see now who he'll get in the semi. Sorry, it's a Dubai Tennis Championships, not Singapore. The youngster, 24-year-old, doing very well at the moment.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Do we have a giveaway to do, Wallace?
We do have a giveaway to do. I completely forgot about that. So tonight we won't do the sorting hat again because I didn't have time to get that sorted out. But for those of you that don't know, we ran a giveaway with PUMA, the future Z football boot that Neymar Jr. plays with and a couple of their other players. And we gave away 2 boots to lucky viewers / readers / followers. And I chose this randomly through all the entries. Where's the artwork now? The winners, Jade Manasseh, Marshall Gauss.
Hey, there we go.
After Jade's comment in the show, I think she get 1 boot, just like 1.
Yeah. I'm gonna arrange.
Ask him if he's a left footer or a right footer.
Get 1 boot.
Then you send him the weak foot.
Alex saying, "I need a boot." Alex, you can have the other boot. Sorry, Alex. We do all of this by random draws, but we regularly do giveaways, especially with PUMA on football boots. So keep your eyes peeled, and then maybe next time you're the lucky one. Lekker, guys. Coming up, we've got next, like I mentioned, we'll have 29th of March, we'll have Gideon Drotsky on the show. We'll chat about the EFC restarting again and get his thoughts on that, as well as some UFC thoughts from him. Then Keegan and I are working on getting some of the SA hockey players probably next week. They are currently doing fundraisers to try and get them to the Olympics. So we'll chat about that. And we'll see Cook soon as well, probably next week as well. And it's been a pleasure.
Next Wednesday I'll be on my new home. Hopefully next Wednesday.
Yeah. So this is Keegan's final podcast on African soil for the foreseeable future, at least. Next week, Keegan will hopefully, if everything's sorted on his side, he'll be joining us from Holland. And I'm quite excited for that because it'll make our scheduling easier because we don't have to. That's one less load shedding schedule to try and work around.
Yeah, I'll be the one that's constant, guys. I'll be the constant one.
Yeah. Then you only need.
Oh, everyone froze.
Wally freezing. Yeah, I think
I
Wally
think
just.
so.
Can you hear me? Okay?
He froze mid. He froze mid.
Yeah.
I know.
Mid,
Yeah.
like midpoint.
Midpoint. He froze.
Stuck in
Maybe.
in there. I think.
No, he has. His power wouldn't have come back on.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I'm still stoked though with you leaving. I'm so
Yeah.
with you leaving. I'm so stoked. At least we got to meet face to face and have a podcast for you. That's the real highlight.
Yes, we did. Ryan's just giving me a call now quickly. Yes. Apparently we're still live, yes.
Yep.
How is it? I don't think so. This should be fun. We will do so. Yeah, we'll try it. All good. Cheers. So Wally's UPS just decided to say that enough's enough. So
shut down.
you need to finish it up. It's me and you to finish it up, Cooks. But yeah, it was great to meet you before I left. It was great to have years. Great to have a live podcast together as well. We'll have many more when I'm down and you guys come to Amsterdam because now you got a reason to come to the Netherlands. By that time,
you gotta find me a nice bottle of wine because you gotta find me a nice bottle of wine because I finished the Marlboro, which was a dream, an absolute dream. So you need to find me a good wine in Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, we'll sort that out. Don't worry, we'll sort that out, and I'll sort. Or I'll actually just get you guys to bring South African wine to me. How about that? That can be the trade-off.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's a good trade-off. That's a good plan.
Anyway, Cooks, chat again. Have a good week, mate. And we will next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're back on again.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks for joining in. And next Wednesday we're back. And we'll be going, and hopefully there'll be plenty of talking points once again. Cheers, everybody.